truth seekers. Welcome back. Zach here. This past summer, Juan Gabriel, the very famous Mexican singer, passed away on August 28th, 2016, as reported in the media. He died at age 66, exactly 33 weeks and 3 days after his 66th birthday. We're going to talk about why that date of death is so interesting, what it has to do with Freemasonry, Mexico's history, and more. A lot of people have been asking for me to make this video since the day he died. Just a reminder, my blog is where I keep up to date with everything. There's so many stories I've covered at my blog that I haven't had the time to make videos about, or I forgot to make the video, and I apologize that it's taken this long to make a video about this man. But I'm glad I waited because I've learned a lot more since he died, and this video is going to be better for it. So Juan Gabriel, he was born January 7th, 1950. He released his last studio album a span of 17 days before his death. Talk about that. We saw David Bowie release the album right before his death. If you missed my work on David Bowie, Scott Weiland, Prince, and many of these other recent megastars in music passing, please check it out. Juan Gabriel fits into the same pattern. These legends, these entertainers dying by the numbers. And with regards to music and dying by the numbers, the band The Police, lead singer Sting, they have the song from their album Synchronicity, released in 1983, about murder by numbers. Murder. We're going to be talking about gematria. That song, Murder by Numbers, where the chorus or the lyrics have A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, just like what gematria is, numbers behind the letters. Murder has gematria of 83. 1983, the band The Police, Murder by Numbers. So here we go. Juan Gabriel, from his 66th birthday to the date he died, was 234 days later, or 33 weeks and 3 days. It was also a span of 235 days, or 33 weeks and 4 days. But we're going to start right here with the 234. If you add 234 to its mirror number, which would be 432, you get 666. Number of the beast. The beast has a lot to do with time. So, dead at 66, 33 weeks and 3 days after his birthday. He was born in 1950. I just want you to see that when you write out 33, it sums to 66. Just like when you write out 50. 50 and 33, both summing to 66. Born in 50, dead at age 66, 33 weeks, 3 days after his 66th birthday. That number 666, it's made infamous in Revelation, the 66th book of most Bibles. The verse about the number of the beast begins, "Here is wisdom," which has gematria of 66. And it's called the number of the beast, 666. Number of the beast, 66. This man dead at age 66. And a date that has a synchronicity with the number 666. More interesting. The name Juan Gabriel has gematria 46, just like the word sacrifice. And just so you can see this, we'll do it together. Juan Gabriel, 46. Remember this 197. We're going to talk about that too. But the 46 is what we're looking at. One of our base methods, sacrifice 46. In the Bible, the King James Version, 1611, Psalm 46 has a special tribute. The 46th word is shake. From the beginning of Psalm 46, the 46th word is shake. From the back, the 46th word is spear. Shakespeare. A lot of people believe Francis Bacon. Well, it's said that Francis Bacon wrote the King James Version of the Bible, or at least helped. Probably a lot of people helped. But a lot of people think Francis Bacon is also Shakespeare. And a lot of people also think that Shakespeare is really many different people working together, which is probably true. But Psalm 46, very special in the King James Bible, it leaves 666 chapters remaining. We saw the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James win on the real King James's birthday last year. The NBA Finals. The NBA Finals in Sumerian Gematria, which is where you multiply ordinal times 6, is 666. In the Cavs' 46th season, LeBron James, known as King James, won on the real King James's birthday. King James was born in 1566. I want you to see something about the name LeBron. 66. LeBron James, also 66 reverse reduced. He became the first player to go to 6 straight NBA championships since 1966 when Bill Russell did it. Notice the 42 for LeBron James. Bill Russell, 42. Bill Russell did it in 66. LeBron James, the first player to go to 6 straight since. Look at the numerology of 42. 4 plus 2 is 6. In Revelation, where 666 comes from, the beast rules for 42 months. So I hope it's making sense. We're just getting started. The name Juan, just Juan alone, Truth Seeker, meant to mention that. Juan alone also has the Gematria of 46. Very relevant to this man's name. And just because we're learning about new ciphers, I just want to see if anything interesting pops up in this satanic cipher. We've seen how this cipher connects to death very often. Nothing's popping out at the moment. So, he was born, Juan Gabriel, or excuse me, not he was born. His birthday is interesting, but what I want to say first is what's so interesting about the date he died. August 28th, 2016 was a date with 45 numerology. 45. And the reason that matters is because his name, Juan Gabriel, has Gematria of 197 as well as the 46. 197 is the 45th prime number. You see? 197, the 45th prime. So the date he died was also 33 weeks and 3 days after his 66th birthday. With regards to him also dying on a date with 27 numerology, Revelation is the 27th book of the New Testament. The New Testament ends with Look at this. New Testament has Gematria 42. It begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. It ends with Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, where the beast rules for 42 months. And again, the beast has a lot to do with time, and time has a lot to do with mathematics and cycles. Notice the word math has this Gematria of 42 and 66. Clean up the screen. These are our base methods, like New Testament. And the first book of the New Testament is Matthew. The New Testament is 27 books. See how it all comes together? So his date of passing has a lot to do with 66, 666, 45. We're talking about the Holy Bible. Holy Bible also has the Gematria 45. Think about the miraculous catch of 153 fish. The word God has Gematria of 17, and when you sum 1 through 17, it totals 153. With regards to Holy Bible being 45, like Juan Gabriel dying on the date with 45 numerology, most Holy Bibles ending with the 66th book Revelation. The first printed Bibles were called Gutenberg Bibles. Also this 45. So anyhow, he died 33 weeks and 3 days after his 66th birthday. We talked about how when you write out 33, it sums to 66, just like how when you write out his birth year, 50, it sums to 66. He was a Mexican legend, and both the words Mexico and Mexican in English sum to 33. The Mexican-American War, For those of you who don't know your North America geography, maybe some of my foreign friends, the United States of America is right above Mexico. Mexico's the other country in South America besides Canada and the United States that's just south of the United States. Mexico, the southern neighbor. Right now, our president wants to build a wall between the U.S. and Mexico. It's all a show by the numbers. Anyway, the Mexican-American War ended on the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd, 1848. What are the odds of the 33rd day of the year? It's because it's all Freemasonry. Freemasonry established and colonized the Americas as we know them. So anyhow, Juan Gabriel, where he died, was in Santa Monica, in California, where the homicide code is 187. We've learned about this reverse ordinal gematria, 187, in Santa Monica, where he died. Santa Monica also has the gematria of 38, very much connected to death. We see this again and again. The word murder has even gematria of 38. Killing 38. R.I.P., like what goes on a grave, the 38 connection. This number so related to death, 38 is. You know, we saw Prince's suspicious passing in Minnesota, in his home in Chanhassen. And they said Prince died on an elevator. Check out my video from February of 2016 after Vanity died on the 46th day of the year. I showed how Vanity equals 46 like sacrifice. She passed on the 46th day of the year. Her cause of death was connected to 118. I showed how Prince had a birth name with 118 gematria. I said we might be reading about Prince next. Look for the number 67. Prince ended up dying a span of 67 days from Vanity, or 66 days after Vanity's death was Prince's death. 66 again. Prince said all we can go by in this world is prophecy, and he died by the prophecy code. They opened up his house in Chanhassen as a museum on October 6th, 10/6, the date that corresponds with the word prophecy. Not by coincidence, because this same code is a Masonic code, and it's going on worldwide. So here it was, Juan Gabriel's last album, August 12th, 2016. He would die August 28th. When you write out 16, it was 16 days later. It has gematria of 33, as well as very other relevant numbers we talk about. 96, the word Freemason, 96 in ordinal, the same thing. 33, the number of Freemason obsession. 39, number having to do with the Old Testament. Freemasonry based in the Old Testament. You know, the time of Solomon's temple, its demise, Hiram Abiff, Tubal Cain. 93, the number of Saturn, the keeper of time. Very relevant number to the story of Jesus, the crucifix, the Bible. Saturn, having to do with death, judgment, the Grim Reaper. Notice the overlap between 16 and Mexico in gematria. Similar numbers. He died 16 days or a span of 17 days. Remember, he was born January 7th, 1/7. The word Mason, 17. The word kill, 17. This is in the reduction method. This is our old knowledge. Span is 17 days from the release of his album. Again, dead on the date with 45 numerology corresponding with the name Juan Gabriel, what most people knew him by. And that's a point I want to make. J in English reduction, J is the 10th letter, so 1 plus 0 becomes 1. G is the 7th letter, so his initials are 1-7. You know, JG is 1-7. Or even if you add J plus G, if you just add his initials, it'll be 17 too, because it's 10 plus 7. So, a span of 17 days later, also, his death is announced. And with regards to him being born January 7th, having his 66th birthday in the beginning of 2016, There were a lot of celebrity deaths in 2016, especially musicians at the beginning of the year. It was also a span of 235 days, or 7 months and 22 days. Check this out. 235 is very relevant to Freemasonry. The Freemason compass is measured at 47 degrees. Each leg is kicked out 23.5 degrees off center. 23.5, 235. The reason the compass is at 47 degrees is because it has everything to do with time. Notice big G represents 33. The sun equals 33. God's son, 33. 33, very significant to the Bible, Freemasonry based in biblical history. Let me show you how 47 degrees has to do with time, and so does 235 or 23.5, because we're talking about why Juan Gabriel died at the right point in time. This graphic here shows the 23.5 degrees. What this points at, the 47 degrees, is the pole star. The Freemasons have Euclid's 47th problem about how to establish foundation using the North Star, which is the pole star. Foundation has gematria 47 like pole star. A lot of this knowledge goes to the sun, the stars, and where this place is, or where our world is within, this greater world we can see. The equator. We measure the solstices, the beginning of summer, the beginning of winter, by the measurement of the sun in relation to where it is in the sky. And over time, people learn to measure by the tropics. Because at noon on June 21st and December 21st, the sun is in very specific positions that allow people to make a very true measurement. And those tropics are 23.5 degrees north, 23.5 degrees south, 47 degrees apart. A natural way of measuring time, time 47. The Freemason compass set at 47 degrees. And with regards to compass and square, the Freemason symbol, notice the gematria of 93. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. The sun that makes life possible, God's son 93, crucifix 93, to the occult, the keeper of time, is Saturn 93. All this has to do with cycles and circles, time, orbit, our place in regards to the sun. Compass and square, 93 set at 47 degrees. We were talking about how 93 connects to 16 and Mexico, his album coming out 16 days before his announced death. This is what it's all about. Also, for another point about the Freemason compass and him dying 33 weeks and 3 days after his death, check this out. What the compass stands for in Freemasonry: circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds. That sums to 333. 333, like 33 weeks and 3 days. The Freemasons also have the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish a perfectly square foundation. 47th problem of Euclid equals 333. And with regards to Euclid, he was the man who discovered geometry. Gematria is geometry within the language. He was known as Euclid of Alexandria. He was a Greek. Notice the 322 coding. A lot of the Masonic roots are traced back to the Greeks, Pythagoras, Euclid. We know that Freemasonry, is very much built around the number 223. The reflection of that number is 322. The word Freemason has the same gematria as math, 42, Freemason, 42. The first recognized president, George Washington, what Washington, D.C. is named after, the White House has 147 windows. Notice Freemason's 147. So is President of the United States. This is how brilliant this system is. Look at George Washington, 187, special number. responsible in large part for the genocide of the natives in regards to Washington, D.C. And think about natives with regards to Mexicans, the death of Juan Gabriel, the stealing of Mexico, creating a false flag back then to get the people against Mexico and then murdering them. Search the history of how the Mexican-American War started. Bogus news story that started the war. Where have you heard that one before? But Washington, D.C., George Washington 187, Trump had his GOP convention on July 18th, 18/7, 187 days before Inauguration Day. The last Republican president, George W. Bush, born on July 6th, the 187th day of the year. The point is just to understand how relevant these numbers are. And we were just talking about 147 and the Freemasons. Look at conspiracy. Look at here is wisdom. Talking about the number of the beast. And if you've never seen my decode of that full verse, it's all Masonry. There's so much coded into that verse. Gematria is the language of the Freemasons. Here, you want a little more? Gematria, 74. Masonic, 74. English, 74. Masonic history is based in Jewish history, the Old Testament. The Freemasons came over here and built a nation, holiday, Independence Day. What day is our Independence Day in the United States of America? Is it 7/4, July 4th? Is all of this based on the alphabetic order? Yes, it is. And if you really want your mind blown, check out my video on the alphabetic order and all that's coded into it. There's just so much more to this. I'm just giving you guys the tip of the iceberg. And the book is coming out soon. The book is just getting so amazing, True Seeker. I'm glad it's taking me extra time to write because the book is just... all you need to do is read the first chapter now. I might as well just sell the first chapter because you don't even need to read anymore. But no, you want to read the rest. The book is going to be so good. I'm way behind, but I bought myself a little time, and it's worth it. So anyway, 333, 47th problem of Euclid 333. The Zionist nation of Israel, the Freemasons, ancient Jewish history, the establishment of Israel by the numbers. Israel was recognized as a nation with a 33-member vote by the United Nations on the 333rd day of 1947. The 333rd day of 47, the Freemason compass at 47 degrees, the big G 33. All of this 333, what the compass represents equals 333. What the compass represents also sums to 666. And we were talking about how Juan Gabriel's death also has to do with 666. You decode the verse about the number of the beast. You got to go search for my video. I got to make you do a little bit of work. You can't be lazy. We're not going to beat the tyrants who work by the numbers by being lazy. But go watch my videos. I got a number on number of the beast. And you'll see just how coded it is with the Freemason numbers. Look at that. The circumscribe our desires, keep our passions also has the 227. 22 divided by 7 gives us pi. See my Pi Day video. We're talking about circles and pi. This gematria language is no joke. The layers of coding. It also has the 213 coding attributed to Nimrod, one of the first Freemasons from the Bible. Truly, the first Freemason is said to be Tubal-Cain, and then Nimrod, who's right there as well. Nimrod completed the first Freemasonic project, building the Tower of Babel. So I'll link all this information below. Here's the 187 Washington, D.C., the Freemasonic signatures in Washington, D.C., how the compass and square is built into the streets of Washington, D.C., pointing at the White House. Everything about the White House has to do with 47. So just to understand Juan Gabriel's death, all part of this much bigger Freemasonic code. That Freemason compass, 47 degrees on the compass, 90 degrees on the right angle, the square. That's 137 degrees, the 33rd prime, like the big G in the middle. There's a reason for the repetition. These people are ritualistic, and these are how their rituals work. We cracked the code, Truth Seeker. So thank you to everyone who helped make this happen. For all you people who love Juan Gabriel, get the word out. One of two things is going on. Either these people are being ritualistically murdered, or they're agreeing to fake their deaths to escape their celebrity, which would make sense. I mean, when you're an icon to legend, how do you get out of the spotlight? I mean, the easiest way is to say you no longer exist. And in this world, it's easy to change your appearance. I know that from experience. When I was younger, I used to teach at an elementary school, and I had a long hair and a beard. And over winter break, I cut my hair short and shaved clean. And when I came back, a lot of people did not even recognize that I was the same person. They thought I was a substitute teacher. So, you could disappear in this world. Change your appearance. People think you're dead. It's not too far out there. And as suspicious as a lot of these deaths are, go back and see my work on Prince, how I predicted his death, how he predicted his own death in 1983 with the song I Would Die For You. He wrote that song in 1983 before computers, before text message. The song was with the title 4, the number 4, instead of the word. And instead of writing out the word you, he used the letter U. So it was for you. U is the 21st letter. He died on 4/21. For you, 4/21. Prince dies on 4/21, 33 years after recording the song I Would Die For You, which came out in 1984 on Purple Rain, but that album was recorded in 83, 33 years earlier. And again, Truth Seeker, we see these suspicious deaths. Michael Jackson died on the author's birthday who wrote 1984. Prince's Purple Rain came out in 1984. We know how important 84 is to Masonry and Zionism in the United States of America and more. So, all of these deaths, these suspicious deaths, these bizarre stories, they all come back to the same repetitive code. And you know what? Before we go... My internet's slowing down. I got too many windows open here. What I want to do is look at what Juan Gabriel's cause of death was. When I wrote that post, they hadn't put out the cause of death yet. So that's something we can check, because oftentimes there's interesting things that they code into these cause of death. So what did they say he died from? A heart attack. Well, we see this a lot. And off the top of my head, I actually don't know what the gematria of heart attack is. 36, 72, 108, 189. Well, with regards to 36, Truth Seeker, if you count 1 through 36 and add it together, it sums to 666. 1 through 36 sum totals 666. We established how that was connected to his date of death at age 66 through the number of the beast. 108 has everything to do with geometry. It's a number very relevant to the death of JFK, who died in 63, the reflection of 36. Notice that geometry also has the gematria of 36. If you read about the supposed tilt of the Earth, 23.4 degrees, 234, 432, 666. Also, that leaves 66 degrees, 66.6 degrees off a perfectly right angle, the tilt of the Earth. The number 6 has a lot to do with mathematics and circles. Think about how there's 360 degrees in a circle. And again, this all comes back to cycles and time. So all of these numbers are related. That's why 666 has to do with the beast, because the beast is time. And again, it's all circles and cycles. Think about spinning the roulette wheel. 36 numbered spaces. Summon to 666. You're not supposed to be gambling. That's a sin. Sin 42. The Savior died for your sins. His story is in the New Testament, which begins with the 42 generations to Jesus, which ends with Revelation and the number of the beast. And for one last thought about Revelation, again, Masonic history is based in Jewish history, especially from the 39 books of the Old Testament. Revelation, which concludes the New Testament, is based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. Revelation is about the destruction of the earth before the return of Jesus Christ. The Jewish people who go by the 39 books in the Old Testament are awaiting the return of the Messiah. So you could imagine that the return of Jesus Christ will also be considered the return of the Messiah by the Jewish faith. You see? That's why there's all this overlap. Christianity, Judaism, they're both very relevant to Freemasonry. I'm just trying to show you how all of this comes together, Truth Seeker. Again, the beast rules for 42 months in Revelation. Jesus Christ equals 151, which is the 36th prime number. 36th prime number. 1 through 36, 666. Again, Jesus Christ has the 74 coding just like Jesus. In the Bible, there's overlap with what is written about Jesus, what is written about with Satan in the King James Version, the very Masonic version, because King James, Rosicrucian, Freemasonry. Oh, True Seeker, I'm just trying to talk about too many things now, you know. I lost my train of thought. But you know my work. I got all these videos. Oh yeah, I was going to make the point. The word Lucifer is used only in the King James Version, which has this overlap in gematria with Jesus, like how the Jewish people are waiting on the return of the Messiah. You know, just think about Revelation and the way it's written. Why would the world have to be destroyed and all this torment for Jesus to come back? People got to think about what's been written and what's been given to us as the Word of God. Because I'm telling you, the Freemasons, all these occult, esoteric societies that have come together, they have worked hard over time to truly become the gods of this world. They want to control us. And remember, God has this gematria of 17 like Mason. Think about the big G. When you sum 1 through 17, it totals 153. Like Holy Bible, Jesus, the miraculous catch of 153 fish. I could go on all day, Truth Seeker, but we'll wrap it up right there. Until next time.